Wait, bro.
And you could easily walk up to her and talk to her.
I just moved to Parkin Island.
But instead, you pussy out. My name is John Anthony, and I'm going to show you in just 2 days how to completely transform your dating life.
I love this girl already.
You go home at night, lying in bed, wondering what could have happened if you had the balls to walk up and talk to that girl. But in just 2 days, I'm going to show you how to make sure this never happens again. So here's the truth. It starts with getting her phone number. And the only way to do that in the real world is by approaching her, walking up and starting a conversation. I'm here to show you how you can do it in just 1 weekend using my natural approach system. I've been coaching guys for over a decade now, and I can confidently say that I have the best methodology in the dating industry because of the results I've gotten from men just like you.
The way John simplifies this, it's as simple as it gets. Basically, you're wasting your time if you're using other systems, because this is as legit as it gets.
I prefer to show what my methods can do for you rather than talk about what they do for me personally. And that's why I decided to create the Approach Breakthrough Challenge.
I had such bad approach anxiety. So I did this weekend course because it was so cheap. Something in me just wanted to meet a woman with just like that brown skin, big hair, big brown eyes. And I actually met one that day. We went on an instant date, which went really well. Got her number. So yeah, it definitely works. Definitely helped my approach anxiety. Got the results. It was good.
This is as close as it gets to having me by your side, showing you exactly how to approach, how to create conversation, how to generate interest, and attract the exact type of girl you've always wanted. This is going to be a 2-day live experience where you'll actually be going out and applying the material so you can see real results very quickly. I'm going to get you better and faster results than any of those dating coaches could ever get you.
Well, gentlemen, day number 2. And for some of you, this is actually day number 1. What's interesting is that there are choices that we all make in life as men. You know this, and I know this. There are little moments in life where we make a small decision to make either an investment into a program, a book, conversation with someone. And then that conversation spirals a new set of thinking and ideas. And then you see that life takes a small tilt in its direction. And you are heading down this way in life, and then all of a sudden, this intersects with a program that you decide to take up, and life just pivots a small little adjustment, that little tweak in your thinking and perspective that is going to play out in a way in your lives that is going to have your world appear utterly unrecognizable. But this is a beginning. You see, what we've done in day 1 and what we're about to do in day 2 is open a door for you. You see, we all start in this place where we are fucking blind as men. We want this result, be it money, women, relationships, body, physique, health, spiritual path, whatever it is. We're all chasing something as men, but we all start as blind. We all start blind because we don't have a system, we don't have a process, we don't know how to do the thing, we don't have the skill, we don't have the internal mental frames. But then there are those of you who make a decision like you have all made, and we remove the blinders. You go from not seeing how life is to understanding that life, and with women and processes to get women, is actually not complicated. And this is where we find ourselves today. A door has opened. Some of you have stepped through it. There are 2 steps. The first one was to show up, which all of you have done. The second step is to be able to take the material that you're learning and take action and apply it. And some of you did that last night. Some of you went out and conquered what was the most stifling part of your reality, which was this feeling of paralysis and approach anxiety. And some of you had some amazing results. To those of you who went out yesterday, congratulations. You have broken through and achieved something which you thought previously impossible for yourselves. Then there are those of you who didn't go out. There are those of you who did not decide to go out because you couldn't. You had other circumstances, the time zones weren't right. Do not stress. Today, we're going to be going through and giving you one more opportunity to go out tonight with all of our coaches. And we're going to be going through something which I love, which is called Day Game. Today is going to be a day of opening up your eyes to see a whole new world around you of possibility at streets, shopping malls, gyms, everything to do with the daytime opportunity when you see her that you can walk up to her and get her. We're going to be covering that all today. But before we do any of that, I want to bring in my brother. I want to bring in John. John and I, we spent hours getting ready, days and weeks getting ready for this opportunity to connect with all of you guys. And last night, John spent over 6 hours with many of you on Telegram, supporting you and working with you. So John, let's get you in. Let's get you reintroduced to the guys over here, and let's pin him.
What's up?
There we go.
There we go.
All right. Brother, welcome back.
Oh, we just lost. There you go. 1 second. We were spotlighted.
I was. I can be back. I can be spotlighted again.
All right, we're good. Cool. Yeah, so welcome everybody
back.
Yeah, lots of amazing successes last night. Lots of guys approached for the first time. Some people got makeouts, some people got phone numbers, some people got dates. Not everyone reported in. I didn't even get a chance to look at the Facebook yet. We lost down there. But yeah, welcome guys. We're going to be recapping all of the training from yesterday, and then we're going to be teaching Day Game. What happened to Ellen there? Did we lose him? Okay. All right. So I'm going to jump into some of the wins that we had from day one. Okay. So let's take a look here. Somebody said, thanks, John. I'll do the day one homework in the Facebook group. I was terrified of approaching. Now I actually feel confident, blown away by the challenge. Someone said, can't wait to go out and tonight and do Day Game tomorrow. My method is low key and simple. Can't believe it fucking works. This is pretty cool. This dude had a really big breakthrough, and I think this applies to everybody here. And I went through this at one point in my life as well, and it was probably one of the biggest breakthroughs I ever had. So this dude said he got to the venue last night a bit paralyzed, not viewing himself at 100 out of 100. And the girls he opened were just not very receptive, had no compliance. Took some deep breaths to chill out, referred to the cheat sheet. Okay, if you guys didn't see that, it's in the Telegram group and the Facebook group. Towards the middle of the night, okay, and a lot of you will have this epiphany at some point where you just have like a turning point at various parts in the game with getting over physicality, getting over approach anxiety, etc. Your internal mindset. This one was with the mindset. He said, towards the middle of the night, right before I was going to open this solid 8'5" Latina with a nice ass, my favorite, I remembered something from the Facebook group saying, how would you act if you knew she was going to be super receptive to you right off the open? Remember, I taught you guys, think of yourself at 100 out of 100, assume you already got the girl, assume attraction. And that does wonders to make everything work. And so he imagined the open going well. And in the 3-second approach window, something clicked internally. He genuinely viewed himself as the man, super awesome, and that he can get any girl there. Then boom, all his communication behaviors became super smooth and confident. I've stated this many times. When you don't believe you're good enough, it has insidious effects coming out through your body language and your verbals. Okay, so this is absolutely imperative here. And he said, everything became super smooth and confident. She was super compliant when he acted like that. Got her number. Then almost every single girl he talked to or even made eye contact with for the rest of the night was receptive to some degree. Felt fucking amazing. Okay, I remember my first field report doing advanced level game, and I was like, I feel like I have superpowers. It feels like I've been given dynamite to exterminate fish in a barrel. Like I feel like God. I literally wrote that in my first field report doing advanced game in early 2009. And, you know, it's been a wild ride since. But he said, as this has always been a big struggle of mine with cold approach, my friends the other night were like, dude, holy shit, you should hang out with us more. Moving forward, I want to practice viewing myself this way, add in logistics, pulling, proper leading, working volume. I'll be off to the races. Okay, awesome. Another dude said, I'm loving this process. I've been approaching more. I'm so glad that I'm mixing in the approaching with online dating. There's a lot higher quality women in person. You don't have to wait to approach a 9 that you see in public. I mean, you know, like you would on the apps. You see a 9 on the apps, you have to hope that you match her. right? On Tinder, Bumble, and Hinge. Closed another one from Cold Approach. Okay. And then we have a guy said, my brain starts racing. I shut it off, try to get blown out by approaching whoever. Before I'd say gimmicky things. But with John's on, can I meet you real quick? We have zero excuses. Okay. This guy got some number closes. This dude said, this is giving me immense confidence, reminding me who the fuck I am. Okay. Going after a hot chick as she's leaving. This dude got a number. The pull doesn't happen. That's fine. The biggest thing that changed my game tonight was the idea of moving on quickly. Remember I said, if the girl's not into you or it's a dead end, right, or it looks like a low probability situation, move on. You don't want to sink time into that. So if there's a lack of compliance, move on. That was one of the biggest things he learned. And understanding what good logistics means, bad logistics means, and then, not just getting the number, but setting the date. Okay. Who here can resonate with some of those things that you guys learned yesterday? Drop me in the chat. Okay. And then he says, we'll see if she actually will have coffee with me. And then the dude was freaking out today. To give you an update on this, because I was helping this guy. He was saying that she promised to have coffee with him last night. And this morning she's like, oh, I'm like kind of hungover. Can we do it tomorrow? And he's like, damn it. See, everyone I knew she wouldn't want to meet me. I'm like, it's totally still on, right? She's just hungover and tired. Set it for tomorrow. Say, cool, no problem. Tomorrow's fine. And set it for like 2 or 3 p.m. Okay. Because she said she was going to go out again on Saturday night. Don't set your dates in the morning. He set like a morning date. Chicks are going to sleep in because they were out late. And if they drank, they're going to be in bed, right? And be delayed. So, that'll probably close. But he's looking at it as a failure. Okay. Someone said where to start. I was so lost and confused by all the other dating coaches. John's Einstein brain distills this complicated thing down to a few simple steps. And keep in mind, I came from a systems engineering background where I was literally making systems and processes to defend against nuclear, biological, and chemical missile defense systems for Lockheed Martin. My job literally was to maximize and optimize the speed of response time shelf. They gave me I can't even see myself here. Let me see. They gave me a little, there's a Lockheed Martin in the corner. This was like the highest level award they gave out. I was like 24, 25 or something like that. But I was able to master poker very quickly. Right? I was able to master chess very quickly. I was able to excel in math competitions very quickly. And even in video games, like way back in the day, StarCraft 2, I was competing in global level tournaments. Anything that's had a skill game component has always been incredibly, entertaining and exciting for me because my brain thinks systematically in algorithms and flowcharts, right? So I studied computer science as well, right, which is just kind of deductive reason applied to code. And so that's what I did to this game here. That's why it works so well. That's why it's different than all the other approaches. That's why it works, 10x at least better than the next best system, right? And quickly at that, because I was able to organize and compile all the information, break it all down, and then, through immense amounts of split testing and data analysis and iterative optimization, right? Which wasn't, it sounds like a lot of work, which it was, but at the same time, it's allowing you to bang lots of hot chicks, a million adventures from Cold Approach. So it was, it was a fun task to undertake. But this dude said here, my biggest takeaway was understanding 2 things: when to move on versus what a good interaction looks like. Okay. He realized he was blowing himself out by gaming, and game is a system that is actually simple. You move forward, test for compliance, handle objections. If she's not interested, move on. Gosh, I wish I'd found this out earlier. Look at Craig yesterday. He's going to have a word with all of you guys again today. He had spent 10 years and got stuck at 2 lay count that entire time, thought that he was the problem, and indeed he was not. Okay. And most of you are not the problem. I would, like I said, it's incredibly, incredibly, incredibly rare to find a guy that I can't help very quickly and get him to where he wants to be. Okay. So, it's good you guys are seeing this working, so you don't have to keep dicking around with a bunch of other stuff that doesn't work. And we're going to get into a recap in a second. We'll just go through a couple more of these. Let's see. Thank you, John. I feel I'm armed with superpowers. You answered some questions that bothered me for years doing game. I will just calibrating 3-second rule, using no filter, vibing, avoiding silence, sexualize more as well. Okay. Now, for those of you that are in general admission on Facebook, I'm going to remind you one more time. You can join a VIP upgrade, okay, $97, and we're giving you a full money back guarantee, and there's no catch there, and we're not going to be fucking shady about it or make it difficult to refund. If you don't feel you got proper value from that experience, shoot us an email. We send you back the $97, okay? And to remind you what you get, and you can type VIP if you want to upgrade now, okay? To remind you, you get lifetime access to the trainings. If you're in general admission and you want to look at the trainings past 30 days from now, they'll be gone. So you only have 30 days access in general admission. You also will get Telegram support when you're out doing approaches tonight from myself and from other coaches on my team. You get 30 infield breakdowns to keep. And there's a bunch of other stuff as well. Like you get a bonus third day. There's going to be all kinds of, Ross Jeffries is speaking tomorrow. We're going to have a lot of cool stuff tomorrow. Okay, so it's literally risk-free. We're making this a no-brainer. So if you're still in Facebook and you're asking yourself, is this worth it? Try it. If you don't like it, we'll give you your money back, okay? So that's the link at the bottom, and then my team will drop it in the chats, okay? Now, tell me, guys, what wins you had yesterday. I want to see in the chat. Tell me what successes you had, what wins you had, whether that be with approaching, whether that be with phone numbers. Let me know in the chat. Just type here in the Zoom room. Let me know what positive experiences you guys had. Okay, this dude said 2 number closes that were solid. They texted me back and shit. Nice. Went out, walked into venues I'd always passed up. I'm normally too tired to go out. Yeah, we're going to hear from, there's a guy that I trained less than 6 months ago that lives in Canada. He's going to come on and speak. His name is Vasal. And he was so scared of cold approach that he would literally get a whole bunch of anxiety when he would be walking near clubs. And he would always just kind of like walk past them, just like this guy's saying here. And he literally got makeouts on his first 3 times ever doing cold approach, even though he was scared. And he pulled 2 19-year-olds the same night together from a club, and he'll tell that story. He started 10 late count in my training, and within a couple months, he had slept with another 10. So he doubled it. Let's see. So speaking to people versus never speaking to people when I'm out. Yes, huge difference. 3 phone numbers, 1 date. Went on a date this morning. Casual talking, number closes. Let's see. He lives in Montreal, Bastel. Okay, cool. All right, so let's keep going here. Also, let me know in the chat, what was your number 1 breakthrough from yesterday? What was a big thing that clicked? Okay, we went over a bunch of information. We're going to recap that here. But what were some of your biggest breakthrough? Yeah, Dylan's in Canada as well. Let's see. Somebody got a cute girl's number at the gym. One person had a big breakthrough of just being yourself. Stop giving a shit. Yes. And as you see hot girls responding to that, it's very, it's a nice positive encouragement. A lot of guys aren't aware that they can just be themselves. And it's not just be yourself and do whatever. You have to direct things forward. You have to be gauging compliance. You have to be sexualizing. So there's key things you need to do. But at the end of the day, the system allows you to be your authentic self. And that's what actually works the best. So that is encouraged. It's pretty much mandatory to be yourself. Actually knowing what the fuck to do next without being caught in limbo with game me shit. Yes, that's huge. I've been teaching this for over a decade now. Thousands and thousands of students came to me and they freeze in the club because they're like, should I do this? Should I do this? Should I do technique 120, technique 150? And it's just mental overload and it's bullshit anyways. So like when I made this system, I cut out all the, even though I knew a lot about the game community and pickup in general, there's only certain things that are going to work and contribute to extreme results. All the rest can go. And frankly, a lot of it is just plain wrong and will make you worse. So, yeah, having an actual game plan actually gives you, I've had a lot of clients use the phrase that I feel like I have the cheat codes to dating, especially with the texting scripts. We're not covering that in this training, but with my texting scripts and online messaging scripts, you literally don't have to come up with any of those messages on your own. They're all done for you. So you're texting the same messages that I send personally, like to date. So that's a huge leveling up as well. Someone said, no one's watching. No one gives a shit. That was liberating. Yeah. No one cares. Like in your mind, you're like, oh, fuck, I don't want to be embarrassed here. That's the reason why I always like night game, to be honest, especially in the earlier days. because in day game, a lot of people like fucking notice and they're staring at you and they can hear you if you're in a quiet environment. And that would drive me crazy because I had social anxiety. I didn't want to be judged. So in night game, I was like, oh, I can do whatever the fuck I want. You're basically like a shadow, like, you know, working the crowd. No one cares. No one's noticing. So, you know, that's awesome. Went out with a rotation girl to find a girl for a 3-way. I didn't realize how much approach anxiety a girl can have. Okay, we're going to talk about threesome stuff tomorrow in the bonus day. Somebody said every set's in a vacuum. Okay, great. So good. You guys got a lot of yesterday. Are you guys now beginning to feel more confident with approaching girls? Let me know in the chat. Okay. Now, congrats to our homework winners. These are the names. Christopher Salas, Johnny Ugent, who's like the jack bodybuilder guy in the Zoom there. Josh Folks, who actually left that longer message there with the big breakthrough. Email, who do you want them to email? Email support@johnanthonylifestyle.com, or just email me directly, john@johnanthonylifestyle.com, and I'll get it to the right place. Okay, we'll reach out to you as well. I don't think we need to have them contact us. All right, so just a really quick recap. We updated the slide because it said 87, now it's 88. This is me with this obnoxious number of women I slept with. You don't need to aspire that. I'm not encouraging that. And I'm not saying like, this is what you need to do too. That's the path I chose. I thought it was ultra fun. I also have the girl in the red here, Liz, who a lot of you have seen on YouTube and TikTok. We live together. We're coming up on 3 years relationship in like 3 weeks. That's my longest relationship. I think the longest before that was about 1.5 years. She's bisexual. We just had a threesome this week. I was showing my buddy. He's like, "Is this really your life?" Let me show you guys this picture real quick. This was the girls. Yeah, I think this. Oh, we're on Zoom anyways, but this was Liz and one of the other girls here dressing up, and we have like all these like outfits at the house. We used to live with 3 girls last year, and we had like 5 vibrators in the house, wireless ones, wired, the whole fucking setup. Have, you know, a bunch of subscribers on YouTube, a bunch of views on TikTok, helped more than 12,500 guys around the world to achieve their dream dating goals. Okay, much more so if you look at, you know, people that are consuming my free content. I'm widely known around the community as the #1 dating coach in the world, and I back that with the results that I get being better than everybody else's, and the results of my clients being far better than anybody else's. Okay. And I founded the 8-week program called the Platinum Dating System, which is literally my whole comprehensive solution. And I'll talk more about that later on. So here's the agenda for today. We're going to quickly debrief Q&A from last night, because we want to structure this somewhat like a real live boot camp. So on the first night of boot camp, I teach a bunch. And then on the second night and third night, we're going over questions and problem areas in a little more detail that guys ran into when they went out and tried to use the system. So we're going to do a little bit of that. For those that don't like drinking, I'm going to show you how to do day game. I'm going to teach you everything I know about day game, and we're going to break down a day game interaction. I'm going to show you how you can approach girls at the gym, school, okay, the mall, on the street, etc., without looking creepy or weird. We're going to have 2 special guests coming on, giving you exclusive trainings on how to really increase your SMV, sexual market value. And they will show you how to maximize your fitness and also maximize your fashion and style. Okay, 2 people that I respect a lot, experts in their own areas. So we're going to be cutting off the YouTube live stream now. If you are on YouTube and you want to join this event, okay, it's only $27. It's not going to break the bank. There are no hidden extra charges after. You can upgrade to VIP. The details will be on that page. But here's the link at the bottom. And can we get that link dropped in the Facebook as well? Or sorry, in the YouTube?
Yeah, that's gonna happen now.
Okay, cool. Someone's asking if we can rewatch these later. Yes. If you have general admission, 30 days worth of recordings. And if you're in VIP, you have lifetime access. And my team will get all those links out to you guys. All right. So let me know in the chat, what is your goal for today? Let's see what everybody's goals are. Just type them off. What is your
Facebook, if you
one?
want to just drop your goal, there's over 60 soon to be. We're going to send out another group of you joining us in a second. So if you want to drop Facebook what your goal is for today, I'm going to let John know. And he's going to make sure that the training is a bit dynamic today. So we are going to be changing and adjusting based on what you guys are saying to us that you're looking for. So drop that into the chat, Facebook, and obviously our VIPs. We're going to go through that as well. So John,
Right,
you can just go ahead.
Yeah, people said 10 numbers, learn day game. Let's see. Actually, approaching girls, stop pussying out. Let's see. Pull regardless of closing afterwards. It's good to close most of your pulls, right? A big problem in the community. A lot of guys like brag, "Oh, I pulled last night," and the caveat is like they didn't bang the chick. There's not really much merit in moving a girl from the bar to your house if she's not down. It actually is a waste of time, right? So you want to. That's why I always advocate, especially these days. In the last 5 or 6 years, is an adjustment I made in about 2017. Is I habitually get into a makeout before I pull. It's not essential, right? But I think it really makes things, it really greases the slide a lot more. And then I preemptively give the hookup objection to her first. So we're making out in isolation. I say, "Hey, I live close by. We should go have a few drinks." But since we're making out, she's thinking, "Oh, he wants to hook up." Anti-slut defense activated. I'm like, "Let's go have a few drinks, but don't worry, I don't have any sexual expectations. Let's just go keep hanging out. Like, it's fucking loud in here. We can get to know each other more." And that way, because they're almost always going to give that objection because you've just been making out. So I just started preempting it. Okay. But let's see. But yeah, I'm going to show you how to close most of your pulls. Deal with cock blocks. We're going to cover that today, I believe. Learning day game. Okay. Getting a side chick. Wait till you have 14 side chicks or 17 and it's fucking interfering with your life. My goal for today is learn how to approach girls during the day. Okay, great.
We've got a couple here on Facebook, John. So we've got maintaining mindset. We are going to go through that again if you get rejected. Better at closing and retaining, definitely. That will be covered off today and recapped as well. You want to find an Ivy League girl that's hot with brains. We're going to talk about how you can increase quality and quantity. And there'll be some of you that are going to want to enroll into some of our more advanced programs later on. That's going to really be specifically targeting how do you get those things nailed. Want to get some solid numbers this week and set up dates. Yep, we're going to do that with you for night game, recap, and day game. Asking compliance questions. Well, we're going to recap what compliance is, and that question I think will get clear for you. Opening sequences like cold reads, first 3 minutes. We don't do cold reads, unnecessary, but we will recap vibing and how you can maintain genuinely authentic conversations. How to kiss a girl at a nightclub. John will touch on that briefly again. Adding more women into your lifestyle. Well, that's just a volume game. Once you master the principles that we're going to cover through for you, absolutely. Travis, get more confident in any situation. We are going to cover confidence and some of the principles behind that, but really it comes down to you finally creating leverage on yourself to execute. Day game, yes. Day game, yes. How to increase quality, Pierre. Yes, we'll cover that as well. Social anxiety, we'll talk a little bit about that, etc. So finally, just making sure I've covered everybody's questions. Seeding the pool, we'll touch on that again. Finding a smart girl. Y'all want smart women? Really? Or y'all just want a pretty woman? Of course, we'll talk about both. All right, John, over to you.
Yeah, the girl that I live with, Liz, right, who's officially my wife. Like, we got married in part so I could keep staying in Brazil, but also we really like each other a lot. We're very similar in a lot of ways. We're both hyper analytical. She's a civil engineer. I was a systems engineer. We both have kind of the same sense of humor, right? We like doing a lot of the same stuff together. So yeah, it's awesome to find a hot, smart chick that you can also bang other chicks with. That also lets you, basically effectively single as well. I have a second place and I see a ton of girls on the side. So you can have your cake and eat it too. Hot, smart, bisexual. And, if you find the right girl, you can work it out so that you can also still keep seeing girls. She just sees me and other girls, with me together. And I see a bunch of girls on the side. But we can do pickup together too. Like, she's my main wing woman. Okay. All right. Now type in the chat. She can go in the bathroom and stuff when the girls go to conference. It's fucking deadly. What'd you say?
I was just going to say, if we have time, we're going to cover a full end-to-end pull, John taking a girl from open to close, but that might be tomorrow. We're going to be covering that most likely tomorrow. And for those of you which are sitting here and, you've joined the Approach Breakthrough Challenge, and you're in this place where, as a man, you just feel this sense of paralysis and you're stuck. How many of you today that are joining us are in some level stuck inside your mind and just feeling like you're kind of isolated from the world and you don't really want to go out? You still don't really want to do this. You still feel anxiety. How many of you guys in the chat are still in that place? Just drop anxiety in the chat. Tomorrow we're going to be having Ross Jeffries joining us. Ross has been he's been in the industry for a very long time. He's going to be spending a whole session on the inner game of how to actually some inner game challenges. We're going to be dedicating a lot to that. And Ross will be on our curriculum in our team very soon. So you'll get an opportunity potentially. Many of you will have a chance to work.
Yeah, what's cool is Ross. He started the original community even before the internet came out. They were mailing newsletters to guys. He had the original seduction forums, and he said in his 33 years of coaching and being in this industry, I'm the first guy he's ever endorsed. He said he's very good at reading people, and he was in the book The Game, by the way, which a lot of you read. And Neil Strauss was like that. He went to Ross first out of like all the people because he was like the major guy at that time. But Ross said he's very good at reading people, and he can tell that not only is my system the best, but also that I actually genuinely care about helping guys, right? Which a bunch of people were saying that yesterday. They're like, wow, you guys actually give a shit. And we do, right? Like I pride myself on fixing the problem permanently for each and every client, right? That's my goal. And getting them to their dream situation, not just getting them a little better, right? So, okay, quick recap of yesterday. Some of you weren't here, and it's just good to recap anyways if you were here. So with the mindset and pre-approach, you're thinking of yourself at 100 out of 100 at all times. There's a brick wall. External events don't impact that. You also have to think you already got the girl before you go in. You're not going to be running a list of negatives and thinking, what if she doesn't like me? What if, she insults me? What if people over here, blah, blah, blah. Assume you already got the girl before you approach. And you heard in that testimonial by the one guy, he said once he made that mental shift, the girl was ultra receptive. When he was doubting himself in the beginning, girls were, not being receptive. They were being non-compliant. And it works like magic. It's literally how you see yourself is how you're presenting to the girl. So do you want to present the rusty car we talked about yesterday that's with the parts busted out, or do you want to present yourself as a shiny new sports car? The choice is yours. Binary decision for whether or not you would approach a girl. Would you sleep with her? I had guys asking in the Telegram chat, hey, there's a bunch of girls here, but I wouldn't sleep with most of them. Should I approach them anyways for practice? No. Only talk to girls that you would sleep with. Okay. If there's not any more attractive girls to talk to, switch venues. Step one, opening. Here's the 4 major pillars. You're going to be speaking loud enough above the music, strong eye contact, squaring your body language, speaking with downward inflection. 3-second rule. You have no longer than 3 seconds to approach. Now, attraction and vibing, this is the meat of the interaction. Remember, you're still assuming it's already a done deal and you already got her, but you need to know what you're dealing with logistically. So you have to ask who you're here with. How do you guys know each other? What are you doing after? Those are the 3 main ones. And you can also ask what area of the city do you live in? If you're in a tourist city like Vegas or Miami, do you live here or are you a tourist? That's essential as well because they might be leaving. Okay. Isolation. You're going to be moving her away from her group. Remember, that builds compliance momentum. It also helps you baby step compliance. It also is going to build a bubble with the environment changing, you guys remaining constant, and it's going to minimize or eliminate cock blocking from her friends. Okay, being physical and sexual, this is going to be essential as well so that you don't end up in the friend zone. If you are not physical or sexual on dates, as a side note, this is often when you get the feedback from the girl, I don't see this going anywhere. I didn't really feel the chemistry. That's almost always because you didn't sexualize. Letting the conversation fall flat is a problem as well. But remember, we talked about stacking multiple conversational threads and speaking with no filter. Being physical, right? You can test for compliance, do light touching. Once you're in isolation, get into more heavy physicality and making out. Seating the pole, sexual innuendos are going to be how you sexualize. Okay, twisting anything spontaneously, saying that's what she said, etc. Now, seating the pole is where you frame the idea of her coming back with you after. So we're going to have drinks at my place. I live nearby. You should come too. and that's going to prompt objections, but it's going to get her starting to think about coming home with you. Okay, then you answer the objections. I gave you 14 major objections in the optimized responses. Those are on the cheat sheet as well. And if you can answer them, let's go, but you're still going to maybe run into slight little road bumps when you're leaving the club, at the cab entrance, at your apartment entrance, even your bedroom entrance. Okay, potentially based on how much compliance you have. It's all mathematical. Trust me, like you can almost like calculate the time a set will take based on the amount of non-compliance. It's really fascinating. I've actually, like graphed out like different like Mystery was doing that as well. You can, it's really like a mathematical algorithm, which is crazy. Phone number and date setup. If you realize the logistics are too poor, meaning improbabilistic to beat, or if she's not compliant enough, which translates into her general DTF level. Remember, you're making a back of the napkin calculation based on her general DTF level, which is general compliance level, and on the probability of being able to beat her logistics. So it's a real-time probabilistic assessment. Once you realize that it's unbeatable or low chance of being beaten, then you would say, do you like whatever your date activity is going to be? In the example of going out for margaritas, do you like margaritas? Yes. Cool. Let's go out for margaritas during the week. Here, put in your number. She puts in her number, and then you say, okay, cool. When are you free to meet up? Are you free tomorrow? No. Are you free the next day? Yes. You want to meet this as soon as possible, right? And there's more advanced techniques. You can start setting 2, 3, or 4 girls in the same time slots or overlapping time slots, but that's beyond the scope of this training here. Okay. Now, a little more detail with vibing. Your multi-threading conversations. Remember, don't beat one thread into the ground. Keep actively stacking topics so you can bounce between them. Cut threads when they become negative or they stall out. Now, you also want to speak with no filter. This is why most guys can speak to their dad or their guy friends with no problem, but they can freeze up when they talk to a girl. Because with the girl, they're judging what they're saying and they're filtering it, and they're trying to say the right things and do the right things. And paradoxically, that fucks you up. So when you assume you got the girl, that gives you free permission to just speak whatever you want. That doesn't mean you need to just be saying like pure nonsense, but I gave you ideas of types of stuff to talk about. What's going on in the environment, her appearance, her ethnicity, her age, okay, logistics threads, flirtation threads, pole seating threads, demonstrations of our value threads. Those are kind of a lot of the main things you're going to be talking about. Attraction, and you can ask interview questions. That's okay. Just don't make it the majority of your questions. Okay, what do you do for work? What do you like to do for fun? Stupid stuff like that. Everyone asks that shit. I ask that shit with girls. It's just how you ask it. You're not just sitting there like, so what do you like to do for fun? It just comes in between like cracking jokes and talking about this and that and being physical. And then I'm like, oh, so what do you do? Like blah, blah, blah. Oh, cool. Like I do this and this and this. Hey, let's go over here. Right. So it's just going from one thing to the next. You don't want to really like drive a thread into the ground or ever act too serious. Okay. Attraction, logistical questions, went over that. Isolation, went over that, went over all that stuff. Okay. Now how to never run out of things to say. Remember what you should do, use the opener. Hi, can I meet you real quick? And then you can start opening threads. Here's the multi-threaded conversation. And then here's the stuff I was just mentioning. Here's the types of stuff you can talk about. And then you go into getting the number, trying to take her home. It's literally that simple, right? And you guys, people see in my infield, they're like, oh, like, where's all the fancy stuff? Like, where's the pickup lines and this and that, right? That's not what good game is, unfortunately, despite what you've been told for years and what most people think. That is not good game. I promise you. I know what good game is. I've banged almost 1,600 girls now. It's getting out of control. Right? People are like, what's your lifetime count? My lifetime goal was 100 way back in the day. I thought that was impossible. I remember telling my roommate at the time, like, can you imagine like hitting triple digits? He's like, dude, that's not possible. I was like, I know it's not possible, but that would be fucking awesome. And then after that, I was like pipe dreaming, hitting 1,000. I didn't expect it to like keep increasing exponentially. And then 1,000 happened in December 2018. And now, when I hit 1,500 in July of last year, I tattooed each 500 here on the fingers. And it's, ridiculous at this point. All right. Any questions on vibing? Drop your question in the chat. I'll just power through a few questions really quick on vibing. Let's see. Qualification. Okay, good question. Should you be qualifying the girl, right? Traditional qualification questions are like, so you're pretty, but what else do you have to offer, right? That's stupid. You don't need to do that. That can come out naturally, right? By just thinking you already got the girl and just genuinely wanting to get to know her, right? And also by having standards. Like, I want to fuck girls that are cool, that are hot, that are fun, that are low drama, etc. So when I'm asking her questions about, what is she into and what is she trying to accomplish with her career and this and that, that's not me qualifying. It's just me genuinely wanting to know if she's like a quality chick, right? So, and those things will just come out naturally. You shouldn't be like, okay, time to ask my qualification questions, time to ask my investment questions. No, don't do it. You don't need to do that. Someone said, after watching Infield, I realized it's mostly just having a normal conversation and trying to move it forward if she's into you or not. Bingo. Any topics off limits during vibing. Don't talk about anything controversial. Don't try to get into arguments with her. Don't talk about like politics or religion or abortion or, stupid stuff like that. It's not that you can never talk about that stuff with girls, but do it. Like, remember, your compliance is low early on. You don't want to give her a reason not to meet up with you or a reason to stop talking to you, right? Or to leave a bad taste in her mouth. Not literally yet. Okay. So someone left. Okay. But yeah, you don't want to talk about stuff that's going to be, you want to keep things lighthearted and fun. So also, here's another one. Don't fucking demonstrate lower value. Don't make yourself look bad. If the chick is like, oh, that's cool. Like, you work with a tech team. Yeah, but I'm like a huge nerd. Like I never go out. I just stay. You don't want to like say stuff that's going to make you look bad, right? In any regard, don't tell stories to make you look bad. Don't make comments to make you look bad. Don't even talk about things relating to yourself, that society would look as low value. Just don't go that route, because it's going to convey to her that maybe you're not that cool of a guy, or maybe you're not that high value.
So John, go ahead. Pardon me. Go ahead.
Oh, just real quick on demonstrating higher value. Is demonstrating higher value required? No, but it helps a lot, right? Like, I usually start off the interaction. Hey, I wanted to meet you real quick. What's your name? I DJ around the city. What do you do? And that imports social proof. He knows a lot of people. Like, he has a fun, adventurous life. He has access to a lot of women. The idea of a DJ is like high in the social hierarchy, right? You're in a social environment in the club. So now you've like imported all this shit that now gives you an advantage. So it just gives you like a compliance boost on everything else that comes later. And if the interaction is short, you left a good mark. Oh, I met this cool DJ earlier, blah, blah, blah. There you go. And does that make or break you? Not usually, but I like to always give myself advantages where possible. And I actually did DJ before I got into pickup. Some people think it's like entirely fabricated. I played a lot of events. So I was doing it for years. So let's see. It's not required. It's just going to help you. You want to make yourself stand out as much as possible from the rest of the guys. It's not a scorecard thing, but it's better than just flat, regular conversation. Let's see. I'll go through a couple more here. Any questions you prefer to keep the conversation going? Some coaches in the industry, Todd V, say yes and. That's nonsensical. Don't do that. It doesn't matter. Like, literally whatever comes to mind. Like, are you stalling out with conversations with guy friends? I don't have any like go-to things if like there's an emergency, I'm going to run out of things to say. I'm literally just speaking to the girl because I want to get to know her and I want to fucking go bang her and all this stuff. But whatever I feel like saying, I just say. So I do have like a framework of talking about traveling and so on and so forth. But you can literally just talk about what's going on in the environment. You can talk about, her mannerisms, the way she's dancing. Someone said RSD told them to DLV. Jesus Christ. Yeah, they really fucked a lot of guys up. Let's see. I asked if DJ is required. I don't want to lie about being a DJ. You don't have to, right? So you just have to frame whatever it is you're doing. Like, if, say you're a computer programmer. If you're like, hey, I program computers, that might look socially low value. If you say, hey, I lead a tech team, or I work in a tech company, right? You just have to frame it in a way where you're not lying, but you're framing it in a way that looks good in the eyes of society. Hey, DHing isn't about lying. It's just about, showcasing what you have going on in a way that looks high value. Okay, let's keep going. Attraction. Logistics. Okay, remember the logistical questions. You need to know these like the back of your hand. Who you're here with, how do you all know each other, what are you guys doing after this? Okay, do you see why it is important to ask logistical questions? If you go in blind, like I've seen so many guys in the community do this shit. They go in, they talk to the girl, they don't escalate, they don't sexualize the conversation, they don't ask logistics, An hour later, the girls, maybe they like get up the courage to touch the girl or to ask her, for her number. And then she's like, I have a boyfriend. Find that shit out, right? When you're physical and you're sexualizing, that's going to prompt, if she's taken, she's going to tell you at that point. If you need to deal with her best friend or her sister in the group or any of these things, right? If she's leaving in 2 hours, you need to know what her situation is. You need to know it fairly early on. In day game, it's literally the most important question. It comes immediately after the opener. So, hey, I want to meet you real quick. What's your name? Oh, cool. What are you up to right now? That's always the second question. Why? Because lots of girls are busy during the daytime. They're on their way to do something. They're in the middle of doing something. And that means you're not going to have much time to meet her. We're going to go into that in the day game training shortly. But that's even more imperative in day game to do it extremely early. Okay, isolation examples. You can ask her to get a drink. Remember, that sets you up so that you will be buying her a drink, which is totally fine. Like, let me make that clear. There's nothing wrong with that. Like, when I had a coaches live on YouTube recently, all these guys on my team that have banged several hundred girls each. We buy drinks for girls all the time. Do we buy girls for every? Do we buy drinks for every girl we talk to? No. Do we, do it a lot? No. But if you isolate a girl to the bar, it's okay to buy her a drink. Okay, but just know that if you isolate her there, that's gonna be a problem. And I've seen so many guys blow out interactions where they were gonna bang the girl, and then they didn't want to pay for the date, they didn't want to pay for the drink at the bar, and it blew it out, right? And they got to not be the provider. Really, they just got to look like an asshole. Does that mean you have to buy girls drinks? No. But if you take a girl on a date, it's expected in most cases. And I went through a phase in the very early days where it's like, let's just split it. It blows out a percentage of them. Okay. So if you isolate girls to the bar and you say, hey, buy your own drink, just know that will blow out a percentage of them. You can get around that by just having her come meet your friends. So you say, hey, let's go meet my friends. You bring her to another part of the venue, and you're not actually looking to run into the friends. Okay. That's not the ideal situation, because then you end up in a platonic conversation with the group. Instead, you want to move her to, where you thought your friends might've been, and then be like, oh, I don't see them. And then you just continue the conversation from there, and you're in isolation. Okay. If you get objections, they're usually going to say they can't leave their friends. You say, well, just be right over there. We'll be back in 5 minutes. Let's go. Okay. Now, physicality, sexual verbals. This is going to make the conversation non-platonic. This is essential. You ever hear those girls that say like, oh, that guy's like a teddy bear, that, the classically friend zone guy. Maybe that's you. It doesn't need to be that way. Okay. I was like that at some point, back in like middle school or high school or something like that. Didn't want to, speak up, didn't want to be talking, just wanted to be quiet and kind of observing and playing it safe at all times and this and that, right? The first time I made out with a girl was in college, and I was literally physically trembling. Like, I'm not even joking. Like, I was making out with the girl on my fucking dorm floor in my first year at a tech school. And I'm like, you're the first girl I've kissed. And she's like, what? And like, I was literally like physically shaking and shit. And she's like, oh my God, this is adorable, blah, blah, blah. And then I lost my virginity at the end of my first year of college to a girl that was like, mostly average, and busted in like 30 seconds inside without a condom, right? It's like, I was like, hold on. And she's like, no, give me a minute. I'm like, okay, too late. So luckily she didn't get, I think she took the plan B or some shit. But like, I was a fucking slow starter too. When you hear from Ross Jeffries tomorrow, he was a 29-year-old virgin. I lost my virginity at 18 at the end of my freshman year of college. I started college at 17. And Ross was a 29-year-old virgin that told me on a recent YouTube live that he was like so down in a pit, thinking that he was totally fucked and he would never have any success with women, that he promised himself that if he ever climbed out of that pit, he was going to reach a rope down and save as many guys as he can. And I really respect Ross, because he said, like, in full disclosure, full honesty, he actually enjoys coaching guys more than banging hot chicks, which I enjoy both a great deal, but I think I would pick hot chicks if I had to choose. Here I am coaching, but I love coaching and I hold that at high regard as well. But, hot chicks, you guys don't have nice tits and ass. Sorry. So that's me being honest, but I do really love coaching. It's one of the best things that I've done. And just seeing everybody's results, on the event last night, it's a great feeling. Even Josh was like DMing me yesterday. He's like, dude, this shit's so fun. I'm so fucking amped up, because he got married for like a year and then got divorced. Him and his girl were doing all these like orgies and all, tons of crazy shit, and it like ended in flames. He's like back in the game, and it's just awesome, and we're like mature in the game at this point, where we understand everything down to the minute detail. Like almost every piece of advice I saw Josh give last night would have been almost my exact answer. So let's see, comment about her being sexy. Comment about her outfit looking good. This is how you sexualize. And you can also say that's what she said, twisting any other verbal sexually. And you can say, if she says today was hard, today was long, it was wet outside, twist it. If she's licking her beer bottle, right? Some of the girls put their tongue out before they put the bottle up to their mouth. I comment on that. If they're stroking their wine stand, which they do often on dates, I comment on that. If they make a sexual sound when they're laughing, I comment on that. Anything that happens that you can turn sexual, do it. And when you do that, I also, when I make a sexual joke, I often will touch her on the arm. I'll touch her on the side, put an arm around her back. That's often when I'm escalating. I've trained myself like that over time. I didn't even realize I was doing that until I watched my infields and saw that as a pattern. But it's, very interesting because that's when it's like an emotional high point spike. And that's when you incorporate the physicality. And it's like a twofold effect. And as you continue to make lighthearted, funny sexual jokes all the time, right? She gets just used to the sexualization and this physicality, which makes the makeout super easy, which makes the pull a lot easier, which makes the hookup a lot easier, right? Like at an advanced level, you're almost never going to get LMR. I know that's which is last minute resistance, where the girl like has all this hesitation when you're about to have sex. It's usually because you didn't sexualize much, you weren't physical much, you didn't set the proper frames, and it kind of comes out of nowhere. Skip steps is a big compliance test. And she's like, hold on a second, let's build a bunch of compliance. And then they're like, okay, just wash, rinse, repeat for 5 hours, right? And then the girl lots of times gets like, upset because like this guy's pushing aggressive, and she leaves and ghosts, and the guy's like, what did I do wrong? Or like she hooks up and she feels really bad about it, gets buyer's remorse, and loses the girl anyway. So like there is a way to fix those problems, right? Any problem you have in the game, I've seen it a million times because lots of other guys have had it, and I had it usually in most cases as well. Like I went through all these problems, had to figure out the best solutions, and then I was able to fine tune those solutions as I helped other guys break through any and every problem they encounter in the game. So I have all the optimal fixes for every single problem in the game. Okay. Next, what questions do you guys have on isolation and physicality, as well as sexual verbals? Let me know in the chat. Let's see. After you get the number exhausted, and to my team, just remember to grab some of these comments out of Zoom or do a screen recording so we can get them later. Towards the end of the whole presentation, just scroll through the whole chat so we can just look at everybody's good feedback. Do sexual innuendos turn girls on? Yes. They expect you to be sexual, right? You're a man, they're a woman. If she tells you up front, like, oh, I don't see you, ever being more than a friend to me, first of all, I'll be like, why? But if she's like, if she's not giving like a reason you can end the objection for it, just leave. Right? Any girl that's telling you that at any point, maybe you have a friend from high school and she just sees you as like this nice guy, whatever. And you're like, well, I actually want to go on a date with you sometime. I've changed, blah, blah. If they're like, no, I would never see you as more than a friend. Just be done with that. You can still be your friend if you want to, but that's not going to go anywhere hookup wise, right? So they're expecting you to be sexual. They're expecting you to be a man, to be confident, all that stuff. Let's see. When do you know when to bounce or keep vibing and try to escalate more? Good question. As a general rule of thumb, try to isolate within the first 2 to 3 minutes. And once you're in escalation, once you're in isolation at the bar, typically, right, you're typically going to isolate her over to the bar. And I lean back against the bar. Again, this old school mystery shit. And the girl's facing me. And the whole theory is that like she's facing the bar when there's like nothing going on. So all her attention is on you. Whereas you're facing the crowd and there's like all these other things going on behind. So it's supposed to be like this power leak. I don't know. Maybe that's not true, but that's how I do it. I lean against the bar. I hold her in close with an arm on her back. I start amping it up where I tell her like, damn, you're actually pretty sexy. I didn't even realize. Let me see your eyes. We start making out usually within 5 minutes max. Once we're in escalation or once we're in isolation, sorry, that's when you get into the escalation and making out. And then it's just objection handling. Hey, we should go hang out. Can't leave my friends. Oh, interesting. You're gonna hear that every time, by the way. Answer. Okay, but I also have to be up early. Okay, answer. And then, okay, are you sure? Like, well, blah blah. Yes. Okay, let's go. Done. And then you're like on the way out and you're like, I can't believe this. Why didn't I know this 10 years ago when RFC Tyler was telling me to yell dog, dog when you walk up to a girl. It's fucking insanity. Like the power of cults are just boggles my mind. Okay. The guys were doing that in mass, like laying on the sidewalks and all this stuff. Hard to watch. Okay. Indicators to go for the makeout. There's a classic thing known as indicators of interest, otherwise known as IOIs. In the book, The Game, right, going all the way back to the beginning, they talk about if the girl is like looking at your lips or giving what they refer to as the doggy dinner bowl look, where, like a dog's waiting to eat and they're just kind of like looking at you with their eyes glazed over, also known as the anime eyes. Like the way that you test is to say, let me see your eyes. And if you lean in and she's looking down at your eyes, like smirking a little, it's a green light. It's almost always a green light. And you're going to feel it. And if she's like, oh, whoa, then I'm like, oh, what's up? Sorry, I just wanted to see your eyes. Oh, well, I just want to make sure like we get to know each other a little more, and like, oh yeah, no rush, no worries, all good. Smile, move on. Not like, oh, did I offend you? Right. You don't ever want to get stuck on a negative thread, and nothing is ever a big deal. That's another big lesson, right? It doesn't mean always be unreactive. I think that's shitty advice, because you want to stand up for yourself at times. So a lot of RSD guys were doormats because they're like, thanks for the 10 insults, bro. I wish you the best. That's just being a pussy, right? Because like you should stand up for yourself. But what I'm getting at here is that you should be so assured of yourself that you're going to get the girl. If she doesn't want to kiss you yet, no big deal. She'll probably want to kiss me a little bit after she gets to know me better. Like some girls just don't want to kiss a stranger right away. Some girls don't want to go home with a stranger right away. Some girls never want to go home with a stranger. Who cares? I'll close her on the date. Oh, she ended up not liking me. Who cares? That girl over there probably will. And that's always your mindset, right? So that way you're never getting down on yourself, because remember what happens the moment that you start negative spiraling and doubting yourself and beating yourself up and telling yourself negative stories. It's going to tank your results, right? And don't psych yourself out like, oh, I can never think negative because my results are going to be bad. Just have a positive attitude, follow the advice I'm giving you here. It will work, not every single time, but it will work a lot of the time. And then you will get results coming in, and that will fuel your confidence further and give you, more motivation to do it more, which will in turn, it's a beautiful process. Your skills will go up. You'll fix more and more errors. Your quality will go up. You'll start hitting your goals. You'll be a new person. Okay. Let's see. Do you think it would be a good idea to escalate with a hug during the interaction? No. It shouldn't be anything where it's like a pre-planned outer game tactic. That's not the way you need to look at it. Physicality is just naturally touching a girl that you're attracted to, that you assume you're already going to get. It's not like, okay, I haven't sexualized yet, I'm going to go for the hug. Don't do that, right? Plus, like a hug is a bit like out of place. It's like a bit strange, right? It's like what you would do to like greet a friend or like say goodbye to a friend or something like that, or like console someone, for instance. But if you're in with a girl flirting and stuff like that, you don't need to just like come up with a pre-planned move at any certain time. Just naturally touch her and watch it happen naturally. And you'll see, if we do that infield breakdown of the night game pull, you will see me implementing physicality. Okay. Is dancing with a chick a waste of time? Depends. If you're like quote unquote locked in on the interaction, meaning like it seems like it's on, and she's like, okay, we can go, but like let me finish this drink, or like let's just wait until this DJ finishes, he's almost done. If it's like things are on, but you need to like kill a little bit of time, it's okay to go on the dance floor with her. You don't have to talk much. You can just be physical with her. It's easier to escalate on the dance floor. It's easier to make out because you're going to be body to body with faces close. So, basically, like if you've already got the girl and you've kind of locked into that. The reason why I say that is if it's like a random normal interaction and there's a whole bunch of other girls to talk to, don't go on the dance floor with some girl and just waste a bunch of time dancing, right? And unless you're just like fucking around trying to have fun, like you can do that at times too. But if there's always other hot girls to talk to, and this particular girl isn't going to go home with you, and it seems like you've done what you could there, then there's not really many good reasons to go to the dance floor. There's just like some exceptions. Okay, seating in the pool. And by the way, if you approach the dance floor, just do instant isolations. Don't try to game the girl on the dance floor. She's too distracted, and there's too many competing things for her attention, and it's too loud. Okay, don't try to game on the dance floor. So seeding the poll is planting the idea that you guys are going to meet up later. So here's one thing that I used to do in the early days. I think this example illustrates it pretty well. I would say, do you like beer pong? I got a beer pong table at my place. I was like, do you like beer pong? Or no, I'd say, are you good at beer pong? Okay. Now, if she answers yes, I'd be like, cool, let's play after this. You can be my partner and you'll carry the team. If she's like, no, she's not good at it, I'm like, that's fine. I'm good at it. I'll carry the team. So it's not, do you want to go play beer pong later? You're talking about it as if she's already agreed upon it. This is a very powerful framing technique. Now, I would turn to the wingman who's typically talking to her friend. And I'd be like, hey, we're going to kick your guys' ass in beer pong after this. And they're like, hey, what? And I'm like, oh, are you guys pretty good? And then they're not thinking, like, the girl's not thinking, oh, should I go to partake in this game? Right? She's already in the frame. Right? This is how you get apartments without them checking your credit or employment history. Like, this is how you get jobs with, I did this all throughout, getting new jobs. I help clients get raises like this and move positions. You just simply talk in the frame as if you've already got it. You talk as if you've already been hired. You talk as if they've already given you the keys to the place. And they start talking like that too. And it's incredibly persuasive, right? So when we turn to the wingman and the girl, hey, we're gonna whip your guys' ass in beer pong. Oh, no, you're not. Like, well, are you guys pretty good? I don't know. Well, let's see. Like, do you guys want to go right now? Oh, well, we just got here. Now you're into objection handling. That's one of the objections. Oh, well, we don't know you guys. That's one of the objections. Okay, well, where do you guys live? Oh, we don't live that far away. Let's just go play like a couple games. We'll come right back. Now you've transitioned it into objection handling and the poll has been set. So that's why I went over that example. I don't use that. I haven't used that in a long time, but that's what you do, right? All the advanced guys I know. Hey, do you play Jenga? Yes. Hey, let's go play Jenga. It's the stupidest shit, right? Like, hey, we should go, here's my dog. Do you like dogs? Yes. We should go play with the dog. When do you want to get out of here? You just need an excuse to go leave the venue, right? Going to a party after is a good one. Going to have a drink at your place, going to rip shots and come back. Those are decent ones. Those are the ones that I recommend. So you would say drinks here are expensive in the first half. I live a few blocks away. And it was funny because I could always see Josh doing this across the room. He could see me doing it because we'd be like, you could just see from the body language. You'd be like, drinks here are expensive. I live a few blocks away. Let's go and come right back. And then like you wait for them to say, I can't leave my friends, right? It's coming. I'm telling you now, it's going to, like, you'll hear it tonight. If you ask a girl to come over after, you're going to hear it like 90% of the time, probably more, that she can't leave her friends. Okay. So you need to know how to deal with that. The second half, let's go have a drink. We're having an after party, whatever it is. And then you tell them you can text the address when they say they can't leave their friends. Okay. So which areas are you guys still unclear about regarding these things I've just gone over? Let me know in the chat. How do you go up point to her place? People ask that multiple times yesterday. I have like 2 or 3 YouTube videos on it. The process is the same. At the very end, when you agree, or when you get her to agree to come back with you, then you say, well, actually, I'm crashing with a friend right now, or I'm staying with family right now. Can we go back to your place? Now, you should actually, that's part of the answer. The other part of the answer is if you don't have your own place, which you would when you're at the venue, you want to work that into like a logistical screening question. Oh, so where do you live? Do you live close by here? Yeah, I live like 10 minutes away. Oh, cool. Do you have a roommate? Yeah. And then later on, like shortly after, like, oh, we should go have a drink after this. So you're down, you answer objections. Okay, cool. Does your roommate mind if you have guests over? Does your roommate mind if you have people over? Right now you're dealing with objections and logistical difficulties based on her living situation. And all things considered, it's slightly harder to pull to her place than to go to yours because they're much more likely to go to a stranger's house and have a stranger know where they live. But all things considered, it's not that big of a deal. When I've been when I've been visiting family, or I have clients that, they're going through a divorce and they're sharing the house with their ex-wife, they're at different, 20, 22-year-old girls' houses every single day. Right. And I'm like that when I go visit family. I can be at like 2, 3 girls' houses a day. And it's funny because a lot of their houses are fucking messy. There's like cat shit, fucking smells, and like hot girls too. It's like, what the fuck are you doing? Okay, let's continue here. Dealing with situational scenarios. Okay, let's say that. All right, let me look a couple more questions here, actually, because I only answered like one of those. Let's see. So someone said, the concepts are flawless. My struggle is just getting my mind to shut the fuck up and let me do the work. Okay. Yeah. Just work on, following the stuff that I said, and you'll be amazed by the results. And really it becomes like a snowball very quickly, because when you go and implement this stuff, even if you're not implementing it perfectly, you're going to get a lot more numbers than you used to. You're going to get a lot more positive reactions than you used to. You're going to talk to a lot more girls than you used to. And a lot of those numbers, once you learn how to text, will turn into dates. Once you learn how to run the dates, will turn into hookups. Once you learn how to get the hookups and keep the girls, that'll turn into rotation and girlfriend instead of a string of one-night stands. So that's like one of the worst fucking roadblocks. Once I get guys to the point where they're regularly closing and the retention game isn't dialed in, and that sucks. I went through that shit too, way back in the day, where you bang a hot, cool chick, you put all this work to it, you had a great conversation, you had great sex, and you never hear from her again because you didn't do the retention principles. And there's other areas we can make missteps, but that fucking sucks, right? Because you're like, oh, I'm so excited. You tell your friends about the girl, you're excited to bang this girl a whole bunch more, and then she goes radio silent, right? And I know exactly why that happens, and I can diagnose and fix quickly so that doesn't happen to you, because that's the shittiest. It's one thing if you're not even getting dates, right? That sucks too. But like if you bang the girl, or your guys have closing problems, that sucks too. I've had guys when they first start my mentorship, they're like, yeah, the last 6 girls I back to my house didn't fuck. And I'm like, that's like at the finish line, right? You're like, pulled the girl home from the club, or like got her back from the date, and then you like don't know how to escalate properly at the house, and you don't know how to handle different things that come up, and you don't bang the girl, and then that will just happen forever until you fix it. Okay, and it's not going to fix itself, unfortunately. Good luck with the guys on YouTube. Okay, dealing with situational scenarios, and keep leaving questions. My team's going to catalog stuff. I'm just trying to keep things moving in the interest of time here, because we've got a couple of guests coming on, and I'm going to teach you all update game in a moment as well. If there's friends, okay, this is dealing with obstacles and friends. And let me know. I don't want anybody to fucking zone out here. Let me know that you're fucking engaged. People are fucking dialed in here, pumped up. His girlfriend, is it the guy going to fight you, get aggressive? I've never gotten in a fight with a guy at a bar, except for when I was running a boot camp and I had a student like rip a girl off another dating coach who was like a huge loser, and he came up and like tried to fucking talk shit. I told him to fuck off. He punched me in the face, and then Josh was actually with me and like lifted him instantly by the neck. It was like moving him through the air by the neck. I used to be like really skinny, and I didn't know how to fight at that point, but Josh fucking had my back. But what else? Yeah, I mean, like I've been in a lot of like near situations, but I used to talk a lot of shit, right? I used to fucking, basically just instigate people. But let's see, who would have thought? But mixed sets, you don't need to be scared. All you need to do after you introduce yourself, hey, what's up? I want to meet you guys real quick. How do you guys know each other? That's the only question you need to ask. Don't sit there and worry. What if that's your boyfriend? What if just go in instantly, like you're administering the 3-second rule. Hey, what's up? How do you guys know each other? That's my boyfriend. Cool. Have a good night. That's my brother. Okay, you're fine. That's my coworker. Okay, you're fine. If it's ambiguous, you have to ask her. Let me tell a really, really quick story. I was in San Diego. There was this girl that was like a 9'5". She was with a dude. If they're being physical with each other, making out, it's pretty obvious. You don't need to go check, right? But they weren't touching each other. But it was a guy and a girl. Most people would never touch that. Who in here would go approach that, right? Unless you were just trying to dick around. That's fair game, because you don't know the relation, and you only need to spend 15 seconds to find out. Hey, what's up? I wanted to meet you guys real quick. How do you guys know each other? Oh, that's my coworker. And I like lean into the girl and I'm like, are you like with that guy, or like, do you like him? And she's like, no, but he really likes me. I'm like, oh, okay. I'm like, cool. Like, nice to meet you. Turn to the girl, ignore him completely. We start flirting. I'm like, hey, we should go get a drink downstairs. We were on the 2nd floor of the club, and I actually lived in a penthouse across the street. This was at 6th and Broadway in San Diego, right? Park nightclub. And the chick's like, standard objection. You just don't invite the friend. A lot of people are like, how do I isolate from a 2-set? You just don't invite the friend. It's literally that simple. I've done it so many times. It shocked me in the beginning, but you literally can just not invite the friend, and the friend will wait there. And it's really weird. Not every time, but a lot of times, right? So I'm like, hey, I'm going to bring her downstairs to get a drink real quick. We'll be right back. Didn't invite him. We go downstairs. I'm like, hey, actually, I live across the street. Let's pop over there real quick. No, I can't leave him here. He won't even know we're gone. We're a floor down below. Let's just pop over there real quick, have a quick drink. Okay, fine. We go over there. I end up fucking banging the shit out of her. And this chick was super hot, right on my kitchen counter. She was like up on my kitchen counter in the penthouse, like banging her in front of the view. And like after I was done, I just dropped her back off to the dude. And that was that. And right, you know, then he just gets to fucking hang out all night with her. You know, they call that an orbiter if the guy's friend zoned. But you don't need to be scared of the mixed set. So just go in and ask how they know each other. If the girl is engaged romantically with someone in the group, leave. If she's not, stay. There you go. Problem solved. Now, this is just all done in charts here to illustrate it. If it's a boyfriend or husband, move on. Don't stand there and try to convince them to hang out, the three of you. Don't stand there and try to convince the girl you're better than this guy. Don't try to win the guy over so that you can, you know, keep talking to his girl. Those are all wastes of time. Don't do that. Instead, right, if it's a platonic friend, just treat him like a female cock block. It's okay. If the friends are cock blocking, bane of my existence, my lake count would be way higher if it weren't for cock blocks. There's like so many with it. I literally had a chick on her birthday that was like telling all her friends, I want to go home with them. I'm super into this guy. She's making out with me. And they're like, no, she has to come with us. We have to protect her. And they had to physically pick her up and put her in a cab. And she's like, no, let me go with him. You know, imagine doing that to your guy friends, right? Like it's another fucking world with these chicks. And they don't want to like look slutty in front of each other. Me and Josh would pull a 2-set. Both girls super into us. Both girls like you know, his girl's cool with me. Josh is cool with my girl. We isolate to our rooms. Everything's textbook. Well, I don't want to fuck, you know, she's going to hear me. And they're both saying that shit. And they're both going to knock on the other fucking door to make sure the friend's okay. And then nobody gets late, right? So, okay, cock blocks. Try not to pull group sets, by the way, because it's going to complicate things. Ideally, you want to isolate the girl away from the cock blocks. If you're unable to isolate, the wingman should engage, okay? You come in, hey, what's up? I want to meet you guys real quick. Hey, sorry to interrupt. What's your name? Blah, blah, blah. Well, how do you guys know each other? Oh, cool. Hey, meet my friend Josh. Josh, grab him, put him on the group. Hey, I'm Josh. His job is to block the whole group, okay? And then shortly after, I'm trying to isolate, okay? And then problem solved. If you're out solo, then, you know, you can just address the friends, win them over. As I said yesterday, if there's like a couple friends that have like taken notice and they're whispering like, what the fuck, what's he doing talking to our friend? That's a ticking time bomb. You want to address it. Hey, yeah, I know it's totally weird. I'm talking to your friend. Like, it's cool. Like, you know, she likes me. My name's John, by the way. What's your name? That diffuses the bomb. Okay. Smiling and introducing yourself. You don't need to have a long conversation or try to convince them that you're safe. Just smile and shake their hand. Literally being normal is good enough to convince them you're normal. Don't try to be normal. I had a client at the Vegas pickup mansion I ran 10 years ago now in 2013. And he's like, there's a girl that wants to come over. She just wants me to prove I'm normal. And I didn't see his message until after he decided to just come up with his own response. And he wrote, well, I like to wash dishes and I know DJ Tiesto. Like, we good? And the girl blocked him. And I'm like, dude, you fucking set off red flags. And he's like, well, everyone washes dishes. So I thought that'd make me look normal. And I wanted to, you know, social proof myself in DHV by saying I knew Tiesto. I'm like, first of all, that sounds fake. And why would anyone need to tell someone that, you know, unprovoked and like out of context? And then like saying you wash dishes, that, you know, that makes you look like a fucking weirdo. Okay. So when you're trying to be normal, literally it's as simple as just, you know, don't try to be normal. Just like be how you would around your friends, like your authentic self. Don't be like, what's the version of normal that I need to be so this girl thinks I'm normal? Now you're being weird. Okay. Like, so, okay. Win the cock blocks approval, introduce yourself, as I said, and then try to isolate. Okay. Any question? And I'll try to keep the stories to a minimum. You know, some of these are funny, so we can keep moving. But what questions you guys have on approaching groups? Let me know in the chats. Okay. Nobody has any questions? Isolate instantly? No. Within the first 2 to 3 minutes. I talked about yesterday how you can, in theory, isolate right after the opener. I've done that as exercises in boot camps where I've shown like 10 in a row, like, you know, having it successful like 8 times out of 10. The students are like, holy fuck. it's an objection battle each time. They rarely just go with you instantly, but you want to build up some kind of like standard minimum compliance where the girl is like, engaged with you, and then it's a lot easier to move her.
So, John, one of the questions is, what's a
Mhm.
good response to we're lesbians in a group scenario?
I've gone through phases. At some point, I was like making girls like spit out their drinks a lot because I'd be like, "Oh yeah, like I could tell like you guys scissor and shit," or I'd be like, "Which one? Where's the strap on?" Just not trying to like give them a hard time, but just it's almost always a lie, right? It's code word for we assume that you're not high value because most guys that talk to us are not. So we're just trying to, fuck you off basically. So I would, just giving some kind of funny response back usually works. So I'll be like, yeah, I know everyone here's gay. Anyways, just kind of like brush past it, right? Because and they're like, they don't know what to do because most guys are like, oh, sorry, I didn't realize, right? Or they try to, convince their girl that they're really not lesbians. Like those are not the right way to handle that. You want to just like brush it off like it's a funny thing. It's just like when the girl's like, hey, are you a serial killer? You're not like, no, like, trying to actually take it seriously. You're like, oh my God, you've been watching fucking CSI. Girls get so fucking scared from that show. No, I'm totally fucking normal. You've been talking to me now for like, 10 minutes? You can see I'm normal. And that's it.
Well,
it doesn't.
We'll go more into the rest, though, John. We'll go way more into the details of this with the other Q&A. The team's recorded a bunch of questions in the VIP, so we're good to go.
Okay, and you guys you getting the Zoom comments as well, the screenshots?
Yep.
Okay. It says Owen has entered the waiting room. Hopefully not Owen Cook. All right. Are you guys ready for day game? Day game training. Type ready in the chat if you're ready to learn about day game. Fahad says he's a lesbian trapped in a man's body. Nice. I banged a lot of really hot lesbians, actually, convincing them to try out dick. We actually got one in Brazil that's married, or she's a bisexual girl married to a lesbian, and she wants to see me on the side here. Okay, so key differences between night game and day game. Girls are moving, not every time, but in lots of cases, it's going to be a girl moving by herself, okay, which in technical game terms is a single set, solo girl moving. So you need to know how to stop them. It's imperative. I'm going to teach you that today. After the opener, as I alluded to before, you want to ask her logistical situation immediately in the form of what are you up to right now? That's going to let you know how to proceed because girls oftentimes are busy. If you just go into like trying to get to know her and she's busy or late for somewhere, she's going to blow you off and you're fucked. Okay. Instead of pulling them, actually, we should make an edit here. This isn't entirely correct. So pulling them is first priority. But if their logistics are poor at that moment, where they don't have much time, let's say you're like, hey, like I live close by, we should go over there and have a drink. Oh, well, I have to be somewhere in like a half hour, so we wouldn't have time to go over there. Oh, okay. Well, there's actually this coffee shop right around the corner. And I used to do day game in New York City, like near Starbucks or like near somewhere where I could just take them right in, even near a bar. And then it becomes like a night game scenario. That's like a cool way to transition. You like open girls on the street and be like, hey, let's stop in here for a drink real quick. And then, oops, you're at a bar and you can be physical and make out. And you've now like amped things up because, you're out of the traditional day game stuff where that behavior would be inappropriate on the street. Okay. So instant dates, it basically goes polling, instant date, and then phone number. Okay. There's no isolation, right? Because you're out in public or at the mall or whatever. The closest thing to isolation would be taking the girl on an instant date, right? And escalation will be minimal. You're not going to be like, putting your hands all over and trying to go for makeouts on the street. And so that, I've made out plenty of girls during day game, but it's just not going to be the norm. It's mostly just going to be like a fun, light conversation, and you set up a date, or you take her on an instant date right then. If she's in a hurry, if she's like, oh, I'm actually on the way to do such and such, and I'm like, slammed today, or I'm late or whatever. Oh, cool. Let me grab your number really fast. You don't have any other play there. You have to ask for the number. And if she's like, well, I don't know you. Well, normally I'd like take the time to get to know you, but you're in a hurry, or like, we don't have much time right now. Let's talk more and get to know each other more over text. Is that cool? And you just have to go for the number right then. You don't have any other choice. Okay. Now, here's the opener. You're still following the 3-second rule. The good news is that a lot of the day or night game training carries over. Okay, I'll go over the key differences. So of primary importance is getting her to stop if she's moving, squaring up, getting in front of her. You don't want to approach moving girls from the side or from behind. It's very important. Imagine you're just a girl walking on the street and some guy taps you on the back. It usually scares them. And then they quickly, and then plus they're moving still. And then you're like trailing behind them and you're like losing value and it looks stupid. Whenever RSD would let out their free tours, guys would go en masse and approach on the street and they'd be like chasing girls for blocks, right? And it's really fucking off-putting to the girl, and it's going to be creepy in a lot of cases as well. What you want to do is stop them directly head on. If you see them and they're walking ahead of you, you have to either light jog or speed walk. I know it's fucking dumb, but that's how else are you going to get in front of her? So you have to light jog or speed walk up ahead, turn back, and then walk straight on and get her to stop. Okay. Strong eye contact. And, being loud enough doesn't apply as much because it's, there's not competing noise. Unless you're, like at a grocery store with music or something like that, I guess. Speak with no filter. Again, multi-conversation, logistical questions. If she is in a group, which won't be as common, like a night game, they're almost always in a group. And day game, they're almost never in a group, I would venture to say, right? Like they're going to be in a group sometimes, but they're more often by themselves. If they are in a group, you can't really take her anywhere away from the group, and there's no competing noise from the club or bar. So the friends are basically going to be able to hear what you're saying, but that's fine. You just have to game the girl anyways and flirt with the one you want anyways with the friend overhearing and just, suck it up. That's how it is. Some guys are like, well, I don't want the girl to hear. They're probably going to hear. And if you open like at a supermarket or wherever, like people are going to be within earshot, and you're going to have to deal with the pressure of people staring or laughing or whispering, depending on how the girl's reacting. And you can't care about that. I used to care about that. I have a lot of clients that care about that, not after we start coaching, but when they come to me, they care about that. And the problem is, what's more important? Okay, talking to this pretty girl that you might be able to bang for several months and have a fulfilling, awesome relationship with, or saving face in front of some random stranger just for that brief, 2 minutes. Later on, you're going to regret that. Trust me. Right. And when you've done that enough times and you're like, I'm not even fucking seeing these strangers again. You're not even seeing the girls you're approaching again in most cases, unless you're in a small town or whatever, or if this is like the gym, like someplace where she goes regularly. So don't care what these other people that are onlookers are thinking or even saying about you. And like, perfect example, really quickly, 2 days ago, I went to get my haircut before this event. I already told you guys yesterday, there was this hot girl with big fake tits, really nice ass. There were two guys behind her, like whispering, staring at her. I like almost didn't approach her because I felt the approach anxiety, even at 1,587 at that time, and new closes, right? And countless other non-sex hookups that I didn't even track. And I still felt it. But what happened is I've been through that so many times. I just conditioned myself. Okay, yeah, those feelings are there. Who cares? Go in, girl, very receptive. But those two guys like stopped dead in their tracks and like looking at me, and like, there was all that pressure. They're burning a hole in the side of my head. They're probably thinking, damn, we would love to fuck that girl. It's not fair. Why didn't we fucking talk to her? Because they were scared, or because they were pussies, or they didn't want to put themselves out there. They didn't want to look stupid. And so I win. They lose. Okay? Make sure you're fucking taking the action and don't worry what these people think. Yes, here's the proper flow. The part is to take her home, do an instant date, or get her phone number. And then you're going to be like, this is important as well, right? I told a story yesterday. I mean, Liz banged this chick from the Sephora makeup store, and she was busy, obviously working when we met her. So we said, what time are you off work? 8 o'clock. And then we ended up banging her that night. So if you meet a girl during the day and she's not available right then, find out what time she will be available later. What time, like, are you free right now? No, I have to go to the gym. What about after that? Well, then I got to like study a little bit for college or whatever. Okay. Like, can we plan for maybe a little bit after that? How about like 7:30? Well, yeah, I think that could work. Strike while the iron's hot. That's infinitely better than being like, yeah, I got that girl's number. Hopefully we meet up sometime. No, the lead is going to go colder over time. You're literally decreasing your probabilities by the day, by the hour, really, but by the day. Okay. And the same is true in sales. Like if you don't close the deal that day, the odds go down like 50% each day. Why? Because people stop giving a fuck. They meet other people. They have other experiences. They're not dwelling on that particular stranger they met 3 days ago, 6 days ago, 2 weeks ago. And this is, we're not going to get into text game in this live, but just a quick note on that is that a lot of guys, when they don't get a response from a girl over text or to a Tinder message, they just let it sit there. And that stalemate is precisely what kills the lead, because it just withers into the ground. I double and triple text all the time. So do all the most advanced guys I know in the game after myself. It's another common misconception that gets kicked around that you can never double text. Don't listen to all the, it's hard though, because that's what everyone's telling you. Okay. But you have to look to the person that actually is proving that they've done all this stuff and proving that, giving you good reasons not to do that stuff. I just showed you there. If you wait to text them later because they're not responding, or you wait for them to come to you, good luck. Okay, now the lead's gone. Now it's dead. You could have reached out and it made something happen. So meet her right then, or meet her later that night. And if she's not free that night, meet her the next day or as soon as possible. Okay. And then texting scripts, that's covered in my 8-week program. We're going to give you guys an opportunity to potentially join that, which I'll discuss in a little bit. Okay. Take her home or an instant date. To be perfectly honest, I don't really like instant dates that much, because lots of times it's just like having to go on 2 public dates instead of 1. It's going to like firm up the chances of her wanting to go on the next date. But if your game's decent or good, then all you need is 1 date to close anyways. So it's kind of like an extra wasted step. That's why I don't like it. But I encourage you guys to do it because it's good practice to go on dates. And you like, cool, let's go have a coffee for 40 minutes. That's fine if you don't have other shit to do and she's pretty and whatever. But a lot of times now you still got to go do the hour coffee or drink anyways later. So, but again, if it's a hot, cold chick, it actually can help to strengthen it up and make the connection better and all that. Okay. So what we have here is step 1. This is the actual verbals. Okay. So I wanted to meet you real quick. I also really like, and let me know, I don't want to be fucking like glazing over here. Like, let me know this is making sense. Is the opener the same line? Oh, that's a good question. In the mall, how do you know how old the girls are? Ask them their age. Okay, don't fucking get yourself in trouble. In a bar or club, most girls are of age. Some girls are using fake IDs. But if it looks at all questionable, just ask them. Like, I'll ask at the beginning. Like, say a girl looks like 18 or 19, but she might be 17. I'll be like, hey, what's up? I want to meet you guys. If they look like if it's like obvious that they're not 18, don't even approach. But like if it's like questionable, I'll be like, hey, I want to meet you guys. What's up? Oh, how old are you guys? Oh, we're still in high school. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, cool. See you later. I just instantly bail out of the interaction. Right? Like, don't try to be a creep or stuff like that. Right? If you're talking to a girl and then it occurs to you like, oh shit, like, wait, how old are you? And she's like 17. The only thing that I've done in those situations would be like, what day do you turn 18? And put a calendar reminder in my phone, and I will like text them on their birthday, or like like after they're 18, I'll hit them up in some cases. But like, just stay away from those in general. There's no point in gaming girls like that. Okay. Oh, the 2 seconds. If she's moving, then you have to get her to stop. So a good way is to say, hey, 2 seconds. If she's walking towards you, sometimes they have headphones in or she's on the phone. I go like this, like, hey, like 1 second. And a lot of times they'll be like, yeah. I'll be like, oh, sorry, I just want to meet you real fast. And then you get them to stop, right? Or she's walking, hey, 2 seconds. She stops. What is it? Oh, sorry, I just want to meet you. What's your name? Right? And you're just trying to like get your foot in the door so now you can have the conversation. So what I was alluding to is another opener that I'm very fond of during the daytime is just an appearance opener. Like, that's what I use in the mall. The really hot girl had like a nice tattoo. Oh, where did you get your tattoos done? Like, I already have a tattoo artist, right? But I'm just bullshitting around, just excuse to talk to her. Oh, I'm looking to get tattoos done in Sao Paulo, and I did these in Florianopolis. And she's like, oh, I did mine in Florianopolis too. Oh, really? Where did you live in Florianopolis? Blah, blah. Oh yeah, where do you live in Sao Paulo now? Cool, we should meet up during the week. Take her number. Okay, and then she passed her Instagram. She looks like a fucking porn star, not doing sexual stuff, but just like a porn body, like stacked tits and ass, which is like most Brazilian girls. Hence why I live here. Alan actually came to visit and had his mind blown by the quality of her. It's pretty insane. It's like a different planet. Okay, so it's I always get reverse catfished is the term that I use. It's where the girl shows up and she has a perfect ass that you couldn't even see in the Tinder pictures. Like tons of them have a perfect ass. It's like a fucking nice surprise every time you go on a new date. It's like, oh great, you have a perfect ass. What a surprise. Okay, you look like you're in an awesome mood today. You can say shit like that. You can start talking about her dog if she's with that. Pepper in logistical questions. Okay, whatever the city you live in. Remember, you always want to ask, what are you up to right now? Pretty quickly. And then get in the phone number. Okay, do you drink coffee? Cool, let's meet up for a coffee. Phone number closing. Now, one advantage to doing day game is you will encounter a different type of girl, right? A lot of girls you'll meet during the daytime don't go to clubs, especially if you're at like a health conscious type place, like a Whole Foods or something like this, right? You'll meet like yoga chicks and chicks that are more like health conscious and fitness conscious and stuff like that. And they're not, binge drinking at clubs several nights a week. I've met some really awesome girls from day game. Right? I was in Philadelphia driving my car, and there was a girl walking on the street. I pulled over, made my friend from the passenger side have her come to the car, asked her what she was up to. She said she's walking to like her med school formal, had her get in the car. Turns out she doesn't go to bars and clubs, and got her info, ended up banging her on a different date. I think it took two dates to close. Turns out she had a double master's degree from Cambridge. She was American, but she had gone to Cambridge under a Bill Gates scholarship, which they only give like 10 of or something, to do a double master's. I had a double master's too. Very smart girl. A lot of you were like, we want a smart girl. Also like 10 looks, super hot. Also was like really into CrossFit, had a little dog, was like perfect on paper. And I ended up making her a girlfriend. And we dated for some months, but she was too rigid in her schedule. She was in the MD PhD program at UPenn. She would only have like an hour of free time a week. And like, she had to be in bed at 10. We'd be like having sex at like 9:55. And she's like, I need to be in bed. I have to stop. Yeah, if I don't get my 8 hours, just too rigid and all this shit. She wanted to like get married and all this stuff. And, but again, that was like a perfect girl on paper. But if the vibe isn't there, if you're not fully resonating with the girl, then you find one that you will, right? Somebody have something to say there? Was that Alan jumping in, or heard somebody on the audio? All good? Okay. Cool. All right. So day game conversation example. Let's plow through this really quickly here. Hey, can I meet you real quick? I'm John. And you would stop, remember, head on in front, getting her to stop. And if she's moving 2 seconds, hey, I just want to meet you. Hi, I'm Jessica. Okay, let's say she's walking her dog, cute dog. What's his name? Now, remember, what you don't want to do is say, okay, well, what kind of breed is it? How old is he? How long have you had him? Run out of things to say. She leaves. Instead, oh, cool tattoo. Where did you get that? Oh, look at that guy over there. Like, he just almost fell jogging, blah, blah, blah. I'm just saying things at random. How old are you actually? Like, you look like you could be like 23, but like, it's hard to tell. Are you like half Russian, or like what's going on with your, and this thing? And you're just literally peppering a whole bunch of stacked topics, right? At the same time, flirting. And again, you're always assuming the mindset stuff is the same. You're always assuming it's a done deal. Okay. Now you've stacked all these threads. She's answering this thing. Now I'm talking about her hair. Now I'm asking a logistic question. What are you up to? Because I want to either take her home or on an instant date. Taking my dog for a walk. Cool. We should meet up later on for a drink. What time will you be free? How about 7? Okay, cool. Hand her the dial pad. She puts her number in, and then you fucking have the date set. Remember, don't just get the number, not in day game or night game. Don't just get the number for the sake of getting the number. That's so much weaker and less solid than setting the date right there. Look at, if we change these boxes and I said, what are you up to right now? Oh, I'm taking my dog for a walk. Cool. We should hang out sometime. Let me take your number. Puts her number in, leave. Hey, what's better? We should hang out sometime. What's happening now? The days are falling off the calendar, and now maybe she doesn't respond to your open or text. Maybe she dies out and stops responding when you're bantering. Maybe she dies out when you ask her to meet up. Maybe it dies out. And why do that to yourself, right? It's a sure thing when you're in person. Again, it's not a legal contract, but why not set those details when you have her right there? And why not set them for as soon as possible, right? In this example, you're seeing her later that day, and you will probably have the date and it'll probably close. if you just get her number, it probably, might not go anywhere. And, you could take an alternative approach here. What are you up to right now? Take my dog for a walk. If you had time, you could say, cool, can I join you? Or like, hey, why don't we walk over to a coffee place together? Why don't we take your dog to the dog park and then go have a drink together after one-on-one? So you could turn this into a poll. You could turn this into an instant date, or you could turn this into a meetup for later. And you only have to talk to her for like 2 minutes. And you don't have to fucking say magical stuff. Guys are like, well, what's going to be the perfect story, or don't think like that. Why? Because you already got her. That's the mindset. You already got her before you went in. Look at what the one guy said. I didn't think I could get the girls, and they all responded negatively. Then I thought that I'm the man, and I thought that I was good enough for them, and they all responded positively. It's literally that simple. Like, that's the secret trick. And I know it's hard to convince yourself when you don't think you're the man, and you think you're a loser. Maybe Ross is going to talk tomorrow about how to break some of those mindsets, and also make a list, as I said, accomplishments, skills, cool experiences, hobbies, and interests. Okay. And look at that. You bring a bunch of cool, unique stuff to the table that nobody else does, or at the very least that the other people do, but that still makes you special as well. Keep those things in mind. Don't discount yourself just because you're shy, or just because you haven't gotten the results you want yet. I was like that too. Most clients I've had, pretty much every client I've had was like that too. Okay. Now, is there any other quick questions before I go into a day game infield? How are we doing on time to my team here?
Probably about, we're good, John. I mean, you can just check WhatsApp for any updates. I'd love you to go through this. You guys ready for like a full day game infield breakdown? If you guys ready to roll through and actually see how the day game can actually be applied, because I know a lot of you are watching this right now, and just like me, when I started in this world trying to understand how women operate, you get the theory and you're like, holy shit, there's so many steps, or this is like the most simplified version, but how do I memorize this? Like, you just want to start to really feel what it's like to see this in action. And this is what we do a lot with our students in the 8 week. You guys are going to get a really good taste of the kind of training and coaching we do, but you're going to see it live right now. So, John, let's just dive straight into this. Open it up in YouTube, and let's get it going.
Okay, cool. I'm just making sure I share my audio here. Popping this open on YouTube here. All right. So the context here, this is in New York City. This is at a Barnes & Noble. A lot of you said you want smart chicks. You can find smart chicks at bookstores. That's one place of many. And let's take a look here. Optimized for video, share sound. Okay. Let's take a look. Okay. So this girl is an Argentinian girl. It's kind of ironic now that they've won the World Cup. And I see her literally from this position here. This is me in the gray. And let's just roll in here.
Can I meet you really quick?
Okay. You guys can hear the audio? Let's make sure we're good on the audio. Should be fine. Yep, it's the Barnes & Noble on Union Square. Exactly. And there's Starbucks and shit. Now look, here we have the onlooker. Remember what I said? People are going to notice. People are going to care. You guys heard the audio, right? Somebody just let me know in the Zoom. Okay, good. All right. So what I did there, you saw me do a brief tap. Let's watch that again. Okay, that's usually not recommended, but I want to get her attention before she went to order, because an order is an interrupt, and then I'd be fucking stuck waiting. So what I was doing was getting her attention before she got into line to order, and I opened with, can I meet you real quick?
Can I meet you really quick?
Sorry?
I just saw it. I like the piercing. I just wanted to.
Okay, then I see she has a piercing, like a nose piercing, whatever. I don't even think I saw that originally. And I said, I just liked your piercing. I wanted to meet you really fast. Okay, so I wanted to meet you real quick with an appearance opener.
Say hi.
Thank you.
Where are you from?
Argentina.
Oh, cool. I used to live in Buenos Aires.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Where
I'm from California. I just moved to New York like 1 day ago.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
How long have you lived in
I
New York?
was going to ask for a glass of water.
Yeah, sure.
If you mind.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
sure.
she says that she was going to ask for a glass of water, which is an interrupt, but you're right. You don't want to be like, no, like talk to me first. So it's just like in the night game when we saw yesterday, there's an interrupt when everybody went to have the shot, and you just kind of wait for a second.
Cool.
Hi, how are you? Good, thank you. Can I have a glass of water?
We have water on the condiment bar over there.
Oh, great, thank you.
How long have you lived in New York for?
Now I'm going to the logistical question. How long have you lived in New York for? Because she's a foreigner. I want to know, is she visiting? It's a stunner alert there in the middle of the shot. Good old USA.
No, I just arrived like 2 months and a half ago.
Oh, cool.
But I was.
Okay, so she's moved to New York a month and a half ago. I'm just like basically trying to find out her situation.
A couple of months, 2 years ago.
Here, I'll
Thank
read
you
this
so
one.
much.
I'm gonna have some too.
Great.
I'm here, I'll read this one.
Okay.
I'm a DJ, like from California, so I'm gonna be DJing out here in the club.
Okay,
so I'm like
I'm
looking.
dropping the DJ thing. I actually was a DJ before I got into pickup. I mentioned that in a lot of interactions, and it imports social proof, as I said, and higher value, and just gives you an advantage in interaction.
To apply to some of the clubs out here. How old are you?
Age
25.
question. She's 25.
How old do I look?
No, I'm terrible at guessing.
If you had to guess.
How old? No, I don't know.
32.
32? Really?
Everyone always guesses like 27 to 28 or something like that.
Yeah, you look like that age.
Yeah. What do you do for a living?
Right now I'm babysitting,
Interview question.
but I'm a jewelry designer.
Oh, really?
She said
Yeah.
she is a jewelry designer, so I'm gonna riff off that.
Do you have your own line?
Yeah, I'm making it. This is one of my pieces.
Oh, wow.
I'm working on that.
I know a
That's
bunch of
why.
people that run jewelry companies in New York. Are you
Really?
looking? Are you looking for a job?
Yeah, it's
Yeah?
just that I'm working on my visa too.
Okay,
Oh,
so
cool.
like I did know a lot of people in New York, different people that worked in fashion shit and promoters and different stuff like that. So I worked that into the conversation. It's not essential. Don't think that you need to have connections to reference and stuff like that. That's not the message here. I'm just saying wherever the conversation goes, there's no fucking game plan about what I'm going to say before you go in there. You shouldn't have one really either. You should just know that you want to move it forward. So everything's directed towards flirting, getting the number, setting up a date for later.
How long are you in America for?
I'm willing to stay here.
Do you have American Mobile?
Yeah.
Are you down? We should get a drink sometime
Okay,
this
now
week.
I'm
Are you there?
framing the idea that we should meet up during the week. Minute and 40 seconds in, and some of that was taken up by the water, request. We should get a drink sometime this week. Do you have an American number? Yes. Cool. Put your number in. 1 minute, 40 seconds. Date being framed.
Cool.
Yeah, I might go
Cool.
for a drink.
What's your? I don't even know the area code. Do you speak good English?
Thank you.
It's mostly Spanish there, right?
Yeah,
In
I just
Argentina?
learned it in school. My name. With F.
Is it an accent on the I?
Yeah. Good.
No, I
For
live,
how long did you live?
So
in-
now
Other
I'm just
than
like making jokes, right? Like she had an accent in the I in her name. So I'm just like laughing about that.
San Diego, and I lived in Miami, so there's a lot of Latinas.
Yeah.
Like this?
No, it's with F.
Oh. Do you know the song "Don't Cry for Me, Argentina"?
Yeah.
I'm looking over at the cameraman because my cameraman had like a fucking earpiece. Again, remember what Josh said? It's like, I don't know, maybe I said it, or someone maybe had a revelation. They're like, he's just saying, or no, Alan said this yesterday. You're like, John was just saying stuff that he thinks is funny. That's what I do on my roasts right, on YouTube. That's what I do in Cold Approach. And you see me, this is like a nice telltale thing. I'm looking over to see if my cameraman is laughing because it's such a dumb, corny joke. I said, have you ever heard the song Don't Cry for Me, Argentina? Right. This is girls from Argentina. I think that's funny. I think shit like that's hilarious.
Of course.
You do? Can you sing it? That was good. Wait, but where are you going out tonight? Or wait, what do you do?
And notice, like, okay, like a lot of people will be like, I'm not going to say that dumb shit that just popped into my head. I'm literally free associating. Argentina. Don't cry for me, Argentina. Right. If I met an Argentinian girl today, I would be like, oh, are you a Messi fan? And then I'd be like, did you see how people are tattooing Messi on their fucking bodies? And it, like, in some cases, he looks fat. Well, that's what came to mind. So I'm saying it. Right. And they'd be like, oh my God, yes, I did. Or no, I haven't. Either way, who fucking cares? Right. But that's how you have a conversation with a girl. You're free associating and authentically expressing yourself while doing these structural things at a high level that I've taught you over the course of these 2 days. That is true game.
What are you up to right now, actually?
Logistics. What are you up to right now?
Do you have any plans?
I'm about to meet with a friend. Actually, was
Oh,
waiting
cool.
some time.
Well, I'm gonna go out later in Manhattan if you're interested. Do you have any plans yet?
Okay, she's
Yeah.
busy right now. She has to meet some friends. Okay, are you busy later tonight? And she also has plans.
I do actually.
Where are you going? Do you know where you're going?
I'm going the Upper West Side. Just a friend of mine that's living there.
Oh, cool. You're not going out to any clubs or anything?
I don't think so. I'm a little
My
bit.
hairline here. This is like fucking 7 years ago. Should have got the transplant sooner.
Are you sick?
Yeah.
So I shouldn't kiss you in this place?
Okay, so now I'm making a reference. I actually missed that there. I'm making a reference about kissing her. Okay.
I'm going the Upper West Side. Just a friend of mine that's singing there.
Oh, cool. You're not going out to any clubs or anything?
I don't think so. I'm a little bit.
Are you sick?
Okay, she
yeah.
said I'm sick, right? And what did I have a joke planned for when a girl is sick? No, I did not. She said she's sick. That means like you can't breathe on people and shit like that. And I'm sexualizing naturally. So it made me think, so I can't kiss you. Okay. Again, like some people might be like, isn't that presumptuous? Not if you're treating her like this is a girl you've been banging for a while, right? Which is how you should be. There's not like a doubt in my mind that I won't bang this girl. Does that mean I bang every single girl I approach? No. Does it mean that every girl likes me? No. But that's the mindset, and that's going to get you the most results. Trust me. Okay. What's going to be better? Doubting if you're going to get each girl? And I wouldn't say that thing about, oh, so I can't kiss you right now if I was doubting.
So I shouldn't kiss you in this place?
And look how I did the physicality there. I'm doing this for a long time, I guess. After I made the sexual joke, I tap her on the arm, and look how fucking casual it is. Okay. There's no like that, like someone's like, should I do a hug? Imagine I went in for a hug there. Like that would fucking, she'd probably be like, okay, I gotta go. Right. Like that would be out of place.
So I shouldn't kiss you in this place?
Like just like a little tap on the arm. That's it.
All right, no, but I will. I'll try to hook you up. I like that flower, by the way.
I like that flower, by the way. Something came into my field of vision. I commented about it.
What?
I like the flowers.
You
Thank
see how
you.
it's stacking? Like this is like, and a lot of people would look at this, and I even get guys that know nothing about game or that suck at game that come in on my YouTube comments. This doesn't look like game. What the fuck? Like, where's the, you know, and they're like, where's the qualification? Where's the investment? Where's the push pull? Where's the cold reading? Where's the leveling? Where's the,